Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And alhamdulillah. Wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa salam. Wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsani ila yawmiddin wa ba'd. So I'd like to welcome you all to week 14 of the Safinatun Naja course, inshallah. And today we'll be covering the topic of the awrah and the adhan and the iqamah, inshallah ta'ala. So how is everyone? Health, wealth, knowledge, and self?
Assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillah, doing well.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, good to hear. I'm glad you could join us. All right, so today, this section really is kind of stuff that we already know. We'll just review it. So I won't have any PowerPoint slides. So we'll just read through the text. I'll share it on the screen. And then next week, I'll be traveling next week, and so then we'll have class at the week after, and then we'll begin on the salat, inshallah. So just a review from the week before, if you all remember, what are the conditions of the salat? How many are there first?
5.
Uh,
5 plus extra sunnahs if you want to do.
No, you talk. Wait a minute. The
You said
conditions,
salat.
not salat. The conditions for any salat that you make, these things have to be in place for you to make any prayer. Or the first,
The intention, your intention, the niyyah.
yeah, you could say niyah. Well, any salat. Well, for the fard salat, you have to have an intention. The nafil salat, you don't have to have an intention. But what's the first thing before you pray? You have to do what?
The wudu.
Yes, we'll do. So purity from cleansing yourself from the 2 ritual impurities. So we talked about the hadathain, which is major and minor. Major is when it requires a ghusl, and minor is when you pass gas or anything that enters from the front and the back, fall into a deep sleep or becoming unconscious or losing your sanity for a minute. Right? So purity from the 2 ritual impurities, and also removing najas from your clothing, your body, and the place where you perform in prayer. What's the other one? Name another one.
You have to be of age.
Be
of age.
That's not necessarily a condition because you can pray before you become of age, but when you become of age, you become accountable. How about something related to dress?
Covering yourself.
Yeah. Okay. The awrah. What is the awrah?
For women, everything except the hands and face. For men, navel to down.
Navel to down, or navel to the knees at least. Okay. What about the direction?
For the qibla.
Yeah, facing the qibla. Okay. And we had a little discussion about northeast or southeast. And discussion is that we shouldn't get into those discussions. Okay. What about
It has to be the correct time to pray.
yes, the commencement of the time of salat. All right. What else? 3 more things.
Don't you have to be of sound mind?
Yes. But
I mean, like not like drunk. I mean, like developmentally. Like, don't you have to be?
not necessarily, because you can offer like a prayer and not be of sound mind, but that's not one of the conditions.
Wait, the conditions of what? For it to be valid?
Yeah, it might not be valid, but you still have to offer the prayer.
Okay, wait, what are you saying? What do you mean by conditions? What are you saying?
What are the 8 conditions that we discussed the week before last?
Oh. So that's not, wait, I'm confused.
Go ahead.
That's not a condition in order for you to, I mean, do you mean like for it to be valid or for you to pray in general?
No, the pray in general.
Oh, never mind. I thought you were saying like you have to do these things in order for your prayer to be valid.
Yeah, no.
But some of these things you do have to do in order for your prayer to be valid. Like
all of these things you can't pray unless you have all of these. All right. So first one is purity. We'll do, and if you if it's major impurities, you have to have ghusl. To make sure your clothes, your body, and the place of prayer is free from any najasat or impurities, such as blood, feces, urine, pus, those things that we discussed. Covering the awrah, which is for the man at least to his navel and knees, and the woman her full body except her face and hands. Facing the qibla. He said the commencement of the time of the salah, he have to have knowledge that that you can't make dhuhr or asr or maghrib before this time, knowing what time it is, and we should try to get in the habit of knowing the time by the sky instead of the apps. Okay. Then the other one is knowledge of the salat being fard. All right. Knowing that this is an obligatory salat that you have to pray. Another condition is to not regard any of his fard acts as sunnah, right? Meaning that you have to know as a condition what parts of the salat are fard, which parts are sunnah, and not to mix them up, right? Or not to leave out any of the fard parts and then do the sunnah parts, or not knowing the difference between. And then the 8th one is to abstain from those factors that nullify the salat, such as if someone is intoxicated or anything else like that, that will nullify the prayer, or enter the prayer and wudu and stuff like that. All right, so you can all review the book, inshallah. All right, how's Sister Aziz? Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, how you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. How are you? How's everybody?
Alhamdulillah, everybody's well. Okay, so let me
I think I missed one. You said covering the hour, wudu, facing qibla, prayer time must be in, knowledge of salah, don't regard fard acts as sunnah, abstain from factors that nullify the salah. Is it you said make sure the area is clean, right? That's a separate one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's number 8. Okay.
All right. Okay, good. Tayyib. All right, so we're going to discuss this week really about the author goes into a little detail of and so then we also cover the section about ritual impurities of 2 types, minor ritual impurities and major ritual impurities. And so we discussed that a minor ritual impurity is that which makes wudu wajib, and a major impurity is that which makes the bath wajib. All right. And so we know what makes wudu wajib, anything that exits from the front and back. If you lose your faculties, if you go to a deep sleep, except if you're sitting up and you're sitting on your hind parts without, lying down, your wudu would be valid. And also if you lose your sanity, right? Those things will require wudu. And a major impurity means if you have intercourse, haid, postnatal bleeding, and those other things that makes a bath wajib. And also the thing that is far overrides the things that is major overrides the things that are minor. So for instance, you can if you make ghusl, that will override wudu. That will override wudu. So a ghusl will be sufficient. If you were making a ghusl, it can override wudu. Because like if you're making ghusl, wudu is the sunnah in the ghusl, but the ghusl is what's necessary. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next stage. Let me share this, inshallah. We'll read it. We can read it off of the screen for those who might not have their book. So this class today might be a little shorter than normal. All right. All right. So would anybody like to volunteer to read? Can you see that?
I can read.
Okay.
Inshallah. Bismillah. The awrah's private parts are 4 types. Number 1, the awrah of a man generally and that of a slave girl in Salah is the area between the navel and the knees. The awrah of a free woman in Salah includes the whole body except the face and the 2 palms. Number 3, the awrah of a free woman and that of a slave girl in the presence of a stranger is the entire body. Number 4, the awrah of a free woman and a slave girl in the presence of a mahram, unmarriageable kin, or women is the area between the navel and the knees.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So the author went into a little detail about, what awrah is and, when it should be observed. And so the free man and the slave woman is kind of the same. And also it should be noted that the navel and the knees are not really part of the awrah, but you cover them so to make sure you meet the conditions of awrah. So between the navel and the knees is actually what the awrah is. But, scholars say you should cover your navel and your knees. All right. So someone, if they had, like a garment on that's just covering that section there, that would be sufficient. But to be safe, you cover the navel and the knees. All right. The awrah of a free woman in Salat includes the whole body except the face and 2 palms. And so, a woman who may be wearing niqab, she should lift her niqab up to pray. And the awrah of a free woman, that of a slave girl in the presence of a stranger is the entire body. And a free woman and the slave girl in the presence of a mahram, at least to the navel and the knees. And so all of this is just about modesty. And so he went into a little more detail about it. I figured that this part was pretty clear. So any questions on this?
Now, does this pertain to in general or just during the Salah prayer?
Well, in the Salat prayer, it's between for the woman is full body, but if she's out in public, yeah, it's if it's a stranger, it's her entire body, and if it's a mahram, is it between her navel and her knees? So that would be like even if she's in the home.
Okay.
Yeah, even if she's in the home. And so with the slave girl part, it's like, I mean, that really don't apply, but it's just good to know. Remember, we talked about fiqh, it's covering all possibilities, And so look at number 1. Why would it be that a slave girl in Salat is the area between the navel and the knees? That's it's basically the same of a man. Why do you think that is?
Because she's a slave girl?
Yeah, but because slaves may not, it may be a situation that they might not have adequate clothing, That may be it. And so even if that's the case, then this is the minimum for a slave girl. But it's like, okay, what about her top part?
Do they not regard like for women like the upper part of the body as quote unquote private parts?
The upper body of the woman?
Then, yeah, because I noticed like in a lot of the fiqh and stuff we went over in the past, like they like when they use the term private parts, to me, I got the interpretation that it relates to the area below the navel, like the private area.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you touch the private parts down there, you got to do wudu, but nothing was mentioned of the woman's upper area. So is that like for this number one, do they not regard like the woman's breast as quote unquote private parts?
Yeah, I think it's because when it's speaking in the masculine in general, speaking in the
Okay.
masculine in general. So then that's why he went into this detail to show what is really the awrah. So for a free woman, and that's not just in salat, is when, number three, the free woman is her entire body is her awrah. When she's outside and in the salat. And if she's around her relatives, of course, she could be a little more relaxed. And Allah knows best. I don't know if that answers the question or not. Yeah, but the top part is definitely considered an awrah on the woman.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on that?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
So is it the outer the between the breast and the knee for a woman, or is it the navel and the knee, same as the man?
For the slave girl, it's just between the navel and the knee.
Okay, but like for a Muslim woman, isn't it between the breast and the knee?
Yes, it is
Okay.
between the breast and the knee. And when she's with a mahram. Like
When
if
she's
she,
with a when she's with a mahram, it's between the breast and
no,
the
like
knee.
when she's inside, it's at least to the breast to the knee.
Okay. So what constitutes like I don't know. I'm trying to word this question because we have to cover it fully when we're outside, but if the outer is only the between the breast to the knee, why can't we just cover it from the breast to the knee?
Because the awrah is different. That's just a minimum. The awrah is discussing the minimum. So you see in the
Yeah.
book, he said when you're outside, it's full body. When you're
Yeah, but
outside,
why wouldn't a woman just be able to like why wouldn't somebody take that and be like, oh well, if this is the minimum, I can just do that. You know what I mean? Like why wouldn't somebody just be able to be like, okay, we only have to cover between the breast and the knee, so that's like acceptable.
okay, because then there's other text that says about what a woman should cover, like in the Quran, to cover their heads and their bosoms, right? And so,
Yeah, so how do you compare that with the outer? If that's not, but I'm saying like if somebody hears that and they're like, okay, if this is the minimum and this minimum is permissible, then it's okay for me to only go out covered between the breast and the knee. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you compare that to like
well,
us
for,
having to be fully covered?
well, for a woman, it's different when she goes outside. When she goes outside, she has to be fully covered. Mm.
Oh, so you saying the minimum doesn't apply for a woman when she goes outside?
No,
Oh, okay.
all right. Does that answer it? Or
Yeah, kind of.
okay, I will go to the next one. And so here, uh, they added this part about the adhan, but this is not really a part of the original book. So when we go through this book, when you see a note, this is just something added to the cover, because sometimes these books cover things where it is assumed that when the author wrote it, the author assumed that this would you already know it, but as they update and revise these books, they add some other things. So he put this, the translator put this here because because the adhan and the iqamah comes before the salat. So let's cover those. So the idea is let's cover the adhan and the iqamah in case someone doesn't know. All right. And so note the adhan, the call for salat, and iqamah, the call to commence the salat. And the adhan and iqamah are both sunnah for the fard salat, whether praying alone or in a second jama'at of salat. And to call out the adhan is better than being the imam for the salat. All right. Why do you think that is?
Because it's the call to prayer, like the general call to prayer.
Yeah, because there, with this responsibility, there's nothing but reward in calling the adhan. But with the responsibility of being the imam, there's a possibility of punishment. So it's better to do this and you know, the hadith about the person who will have their neck outstretched on their judgment for calling the adhan. And the imam, you know, there's hadith about the imam could be if he's leading people, leading them wrong, he'll get a punishment for part of that, right? And there's another hadith that says the imam will come before Allah and change on the judgment day. So y'all make dua for me and other imams. You know, this job is, whew. Okay. So the adhan and the iqamah are both sunnah and for the fard salat, right? So I think in other schools it said that the adhan is sunnah, but the iqamah is wajib. And whether you're praying by yourself or in the second Jamaat of Salat, that you should call them both, inshallah. All right, so the words of the adhan, and I'm pretty sure we all know them. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala al-falah. Hayya ala al-falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. So that's the adhan, of course, a little more melodious than what I said. Somebody had a question?
Me. Now, so only a male can call the adhan, correct?
Yes, when for the fard salat, only a woman can call it. He's going to cover it if it's in the presence of all women.
Okay.
And also, if you by yourself, you can call the adhan in the iqamah.
Oh, okay.
A woman can call it by if she's by herself praying, or if she's in a jamaat with all women.
Okay.
So it is sooner to recite the two testification in low voice before calling it and aloud. And so Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And so in the Shafi'i school, you would take a pause there, recite this the kalima silent first, and then recite it loud, recite it silent again, and recite it loud. All right. And then in the Fajr Salat, the Adhan, you add in before the final takbir, as-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm, which means prayer is better than sleep. And so you all kind of familiar with this, right?
Yes.
So, well, no, I hear them. I don't know what they're saying. Like when they do it in the masjid, I hear them like after they say Allahu Akbar, then like the members recite that. But then I just never grasp what they would say like after they finish the salah and the other wording in between.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is at least going to the Shafi school. I'm not sure about the other school.
No, yeah, we're in it's the Shafi school. I think I have to look on one of my apps to just so that I could start memorizing. Okay. Memorizing that.
Mm-hmm. All right, inshallah. And so then the words of the iqamah is basically the adhan cut in half almost. So in the words of the iqamah, when you establish the prayer, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala al-falah, Qad qamatis salah, Qad qamatis salah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. All right, and so that's the iqamah. And then he mentions when giving the adhan and the iqamah, it is mustahab, recommended. Remember the rule on mustahab? It means more than recommended. What does it mean, the mustahab? Did I lose y'all?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Somebody talk to me.
You said asking what the meaning of mustahab is?
Yes, we translate as recommended, but it has another meaning that we covered.
Oh, I think I missed that class.
That's
I
it.
will defer to my other classmates for that information.
Okay, they ducking and hide. I don't see
You said
them.
mustahab?
Yes.
That's not recommended?
Yeah, it means recommended, but a more fuller meaning that we covered.
You mean like doing it get you the reward and not doing it? Is that what you
Yes.
mean?
Yes. So
Oh.
repeat that again.
If you do it, you get rewarded, but if you don't do it, you don't. I mean, you don't get punished.
Yes, there's no harm if you leave it off. Okay.
Oh, I knew that. I thought you were looking for something more intricate.
I did too.
Oh, it's important to know because okay, like if you run across somebody and they don't call the adhan when it's time because they think they have to be in wudu, it's recommended, yeah, but you won't delay it until you finish. You could call it without the wudu because there is no punishment. It's just these little intricacies to know that's important. So to be in the state of wudu, to stand up, to face the qibla, and to turn the head, not the chest and the feet, to the right when saying Hayya ala salat, and to the left when you say Hayya ala falat. Right. And I think in other schools, you should have your fingers in your ear like this, called the adhan. But I don't know that to be in the Shafi'i school. Just calling it and then turning your head to the right. Hayya ala salat, Hayya ala falat. Okay. To call the adhan calmly and slowly, pausing for an interval after each phrase of the adhan equal to the duration of the phrase. All right. And so it should be, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You pause. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Pause for the duration of saying Allahu Akbar, right? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So in the Shafi school, you would say that first, then say it out loud, and then allow some time for people to repeat it as well as yourself, right? I say that twice. And then Ashhadu an la Muhammad Rasulullah, then Hayya ala Salah, Hayya ala Falah, then Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Right? And so here, when he's talking about except for the repetitions of Allahu Akbar, meaning that you say them together. Right? So you're not pausing after each Allahu Akbar. You're saying them together. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So there you do a little pause, but you don't pause to the equivalent of the whole phrase. All right. Yeah, so which are said in pairs is to give iqamah rapidly without pausing. All right. To repeat each phrase after the muadhin, even if in the state of janaba or major ritual purity during menstruation or when reciting the Quran. So it's permissible to repeat it after the muadhin if you're in these states of impurity. So it'd be similar to reciting the Quran from your memory without touching the Musaf. Okay. It is makruh to call out the adhan in the state of hadath, minor ritual impurity, more severe to do so in a state of janaba, and even worse to give iqamah while in either of these two states. And so even he's saying this because actually you can't offer salah in any of these states. So, and here the idea is that if you can't offer salah in the states, then it's the severity of doing that, you should try to avoid it. That's why I said it's makruh. So makruh, what's the meaning of makruh?
Is that disliked?
Mm-hmm. Dislike. Well, it's the same. I'm looking for the meaning like we did for mustahab.
You wait. Let me.
You. Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, makruh is disliked. So if you avoid it, then you won't be punished. But if you do, you won't be rewarded.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Good. And so, you know, and these things are important because these things occur. You know, somebody be like, "Did you make wudu, Akhi? You called it then?" No, I didn't. So, if a person doesn't know the ruling of it, they should probably not say nothing. Know that it's, you know, makruh to do it. Right. More severe to do in the state of janaba because, you know, why are you calling to pray and you're not even prepared to pray? And even worse, to give iqamah while in either of these two states. All right. So it's saying that, you know, how severe it is because how can you give the iqamah but you can't pray in the state of janaba or hadath, right? So, you know, what are you doing here anyway? Go get yourself cleaned up. And so here, after the words "Hayya ala salah" and "Hayya ala falah," you repeat "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah." And so the person who's calling the adhan should kind of know these rulings to give people the opportunity to repeat these phrases and to say this phrase and to repeat the phrase, each phrase in the adhan. Because some people, you know, they just call it, you know, quickly. And so in this one replies in after the words as-salatu khairun min an-nawm, which is in the Fajr prayer, you say sadaqata wa barakta, which means you're spoken truly and freely. All right. That is the truth. All right. And after the words in the iqamah is called the iqamah to salah, you say aqamaha Allahu wa adamaha. And Allah has established this. What's adamaha? I never knew that. I mean, I never said that in the salat. I gotta follow up on that. Okay, and then to recite the following dua after the adhan. How many of y'all know the dua after the adhan?
There's two of them, I think.
There's two of them?
Yes.
Okay. Which one you know?
Well, I know both.
Okay. Let me hear both of them.
Okay. No, sorry. I'm a little out of breath. I know the first one is وأنا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله رضيت بالله ربا وبمحمدا رسولا وبإسلام دينا. And then the second one is اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثوا مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته.
وعدته. That's it?
Let's do that. I know.
Okay. Yeah, that's the part that's here. Okay. All right. And so you all want to take a stab at trying to memorize it or I guess I could send you all a copy.
The first one, it sounds like I've heard that one. The second one, I never heard.
Well, I think in the other schools that the first part is part of this because she just recited this part here. Allahumma rabba hadihi da'wati tamati wa salati qa'ima. Ati Sayyidina Muhammadan wasilata wa fadilata wab'athu maqama mahmuda alladhi wa'attahu. Innaka la tukhliful mi'ad. And this is one of the Shafi'i school, but it wasn't matter if it, you know, it's different wording. But do you all know it, Sister Nunu, Sister Aziza?
No, that's what I was referring to when my previous statement that I wasn't familiar. I know when they call the adhan and after it's over, like everybody's reciting something, and I didn't know what it was. So I have it in a couple of my apps. I guess it's the I forget the name of it. The thing that has all the stuff, the duas and all of that stuff in there. So I'll have to work on memorizing that.
Okay, so you and
Sister Muslim, that's what it is. The Hindu Muslim that has all of that stuff in there.
Well, guess what? You got 2 weeks to learn it.
Are we gonna have a test?
No, we're not have a test. Just so you know, just to know it.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I put an asterisk, and I did
Okay.
note that for my little assignment to start memorizing that.
Okay. Inshallah. And so the conditions for the muadhin, they have to be Muslim. Mumayyiz, not mumayyid. They put the mayyid. Mumayyiz, the age of understanding. And so, what is the age of understanding?
Is that 7?
Yeah, approximately 7. When the child is kind of old enough to feed and clothe themselves, put their shoes on, tie their shoes, ask questions. And so, this is encouragement to let our young kids, get practice of calling the adhan. So, if we have any young children or grandchildren, put them in rotation. Put them in rotation. Sanity, and male if the adhan is for a jama'ah of men, and of course we mentioned already for the female, if it's a group of women, all women, she can call the adhan and the iqamah. And if she's by herself, she can also do the same. Okay, so that's really the end of the section for this, and next week we're going to begin the salat, the arkan of the salat. All right. Not next week, but the week after. So I'll be traveling this week. I'll be back in town. Wait a minute. No, we'll have class next week. I'll be back on Saturday night. Yeah, so you don't have 2 weeks. You heard that?
Yes.
So you don't have 2 weeks to memorize. You almost caught a break, but no, I'll be traveling on I'll be in Chicago, but I'll be back on Saturday night. And so we will have class on Sunday. So next week I won't be available for the Wednesday class and the tafsir class. But I'll be back Sunday, so we will have class. I had to recalculate that. All right, Tayyip. So I know the class was a little short, but we just covered that. So I would like for you all to have that dua memorized, inshallah, for the dua after the adhan. All right. Any questions?
No.
Okay. All right, inshallah. I don't know if you're all available this evening. We're going to have our Quran reading. I mean, our book reading around 5:30. And I got a little book that's a small book, but it's related to the month of Muharram and the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, rahimahullah, and some of the things related to it, because the story doesn't really get enough attention. What happened at Karbala, and it's something that we should know, inshallah, because it's not exclusively a Shiite thing. This is the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's grandson. And, there's a book that's about maybe, I think it's like 90 pages, but it was one that was recommended to me. And then we can read that in between the next book that we have that I hope did you all ever get it? The testimonies of the what is it called?
Yes, I have that one. I can't remember the whole title, but testimonies.
Yeah. I don't have the book in front of me, but I'll share it again in the group. So we might start that one next month, and we'll do a little what's the word I'm looking for? A little detour with this other book. So it'll take us 2 weeks to read. So inshallah, that'll be up next today. So if you all can make it, I really appreciate it. All right, so if there's no questions, inshallah, we'll stop there. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. I mean, alhamdulillah. Okay, inshallah. I'll see you either this afternoon or next week, inshallah. Assalamu
What
alaikum.
time did you say this evening was? 5 or 5:30?
5:30 after Asr time, Eastern Standard Time.
Inshallah. Okay.
All right. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.